Hi, my name's Tony Cealy, and I'm here to welcome the audience in tonight's amazing show. It's the Black Men's Consortium. I've been working with them from September 2021. It's now end of March 2022, and the men have put together some amazing creative work to show tonight here at Brixton Library to an amazing group of health professionals, deputy leaders of the council, service users, and anybody involved in mental health and wellbeing services. We're hoping to look at ways that we can change the existing services so that black men have improved services for the future. I hope you enjoy the show.
There were many parts of the event that caught my attention. I think just even the way we were welcomed to connect and raise our vibration, that we could be present in the room, was so powerful.
It's very messy what we're trying to do tonight. We don't know what it's going to turn out and how it will work, and we need your cooperation and a bit of your playfulness and a bit of your seriousness to make that mixture work. The aim is to try to have a really wonderful debate about some of these important issues that affect our community. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to the men, the Black Men's Consortium. They're going to share with you some of the material they've been working with me on since the beginning of this year. I hope you enjoy it.
Another young boy who was 16 years old at the age of his strip search. Walking down the road, minding his business, police officers attended, showed him their warrant badge, put him into a police van and drove him to a place which was unfamiliar to him.
My role tonight was to be a speaker for the people. When I heard about what happened to child Q, I was actually gobsmacked. I mean, I have 3 sons who are now men, but I have grandchildren. And to think what happened to them is happening, and it has happened for the last 5 or 6 years, is absolutely rife.
He was then told to take off his clothes. Now cast your minds back to when you were 16 years old. You're on your own. You're scared. You're confused. You're alone. You don't know where you are. You're defenseless against 3 adults, and you're told to take off your clothes. Despite the fact that he was scared, he stood there. He took off his clothes.
And it's an injustice. We don't have an issue with what the police have to do. We know they have a tough job to do. All that we ask is that you do it within the law.
He was then ordered to turn around, kneel down, bend over and spread your butt cheeks. Imagine how humiliating that must have felt for him.
Illustration to bring visibility to what it is to be vulnerable and frightened as a young man in that type of a strip search was very powerful, because people take it as nothing, but him illustrating it was powerful.
What we do at the BMC, the Black Men's Consortium, is we put on shows that tackle real life. It's not a play, it's not make-believe, it's what's happening every day. And our role is to speak and to promote what is going on so that we can all live a better world. Mental health is actually rife. Mental health is injustice, the way people are treated, black or white. and things are wrong, and we've still got a long way to go. And if we don't speak, then people aren't going to hear us. And we need to speak more. We need to speak with each other. We need to love ourselves and love each other. And everyone needs to be respectful. We tackle subjects about mental health, substance misuse, suicide ideations. The amount of suicides in men, in young men, it shouldn't happen. It's preventable. But it's going unheard of. People aren't actually speaking about it. So if it's my job to speak about things that people maybe get a bit upset about, then so be it, because in order to make sure that we all live a better life, I will shout to the top of the roof.
Just to give you a little bit of the insight to the programme, we're going to show you what Drew would call his graphic harvest.
So for the 6 weeks, every session I would come with a long roll of paper, and I would do drawings and write down things that were said in the sessions. So I'm going to take you through that, okay? So in the first session, the Black Men's Consortium. So my name is Drew Sinclair. This group, the Black Men's Consortium, has been, it's been a true inspiration. It's really opened me up to just different ways of being in a space with a group of black men. We all have our own experiences of racism. So sometimes it's like a gunshot when someone says something to you. It can go straight into your soul, into your heart. But we are all connected. To sit down and to discuss vulnerable things about how we're feeling, the things that are affecting us in our environment, has been very nourishing for me. You know, being able to, to listen and to be heard by men that are going through similar things as I'm going through is extremely valuable. So in our third session, we actually practiced some qigong in our sessions, just to find inner balance and peace and strength and focus. We did breathing exercises, energy cultivation. It was healing and it was graceful. I do feel valuable in this group. Needed. I think that's, as I say it now, it really kind of sits inside, this feeling of being loved and appreciated and needed in this community. It's really important. I think definitely for a man as well, to feel like his contribution is making a difference or making a change or helping, protecting, these things, it's good.
No cars, no people, no drills, no neighbors squatting on my head, under the floor, through the wall, shouting and screaming. My name is Chaka Shombe, and I am one of the actors on this production here. I'm doing a monologue tonight about a guy who is in psychotic breakdown. Just to look on your face. I want to go to a place this one's called my home. The sand between my toes.
One of the things that's really critical about these performances is that at this point, these people are exercising their voice to speak. They're talking about their story. They're telling their story their way. And they're doing that through the medium of drama.
I am a black man. I am a black man who is a human being. I am a gay black man.
The most important, powerful thing that can take place, certainly within the society, and it's not just within the UK, but across Europe, that black men don't have a voice, but also we don't have the facility to speak about our own mental health. And this is probably the most powerful opportunity that has happened to us for a long time.
In my country of origin, in West Africa, being a homosexual is illegal and can land you in prison for up to 14 years, simply for who you love. In the north of our country, under Sharia law, you can be stoned to death for being lesbian, gay, or bisexual.
What inspired me quite a lot was just the idea that everybody has their own trauma,
and it doesn't matter, you know, like what you look like or anything like that. Like, it really is just about being human. That was quite powerful, I thought.
Doctor?
Mr. Martin.
Yes, doctor.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
Reception, Mr. Martin. The therapist.
Okay, I'll wait for the therapist.
Therapist, all right.
My name is Terence Anthony Peters. I would ask the doctor for help, and then it will just escalate where I can't get the help, and then in the end I end up dying. Yes, therapist.
Mr. Martin.
Yes, therapist.
Mr. Martin.
Yes, therapist.
28th of the 4th, 2099.
No. I can't take this. This is too much pressure. I've gone through too much. I don't know what to do. I think my heart's going.
Look what you've
What have you done?
Look what you guys done. It's your fault.
Dramatization, the skits, the reenaction of actual stories. All of those stories happen to people. They're not fiction, right? It's all truth. It's all coming from personal experience. And that's what's so powerful about this event and these shows, is these are all true stories.
Everybody all right? Yeah, you sure? Yeah. We've got a couple more to go. Perhaps think about what could be done differently if you had an opportunity to be in any of these scenes. What might you do? What might you try to change if you were included in these scenes?
I'm a service user, and a lot of what I saw tonight really hit home. It was very real, at times, you know, too real.
Have given me tremors, the most painful constipation.
We understand
my vision is
what you're
blurry.
talking about, Mr. Edwards.
So
but
to
this
get
is not
reduced
the place-
medication for
Mr.
that
Edwards,
and
Mr. Edwards, this is not the place for you to become retaliated.
So what was powerful was the drama of what it's like to be a service user in the mental health system.
We are working with, and I'll just grab it, a major pharmaceutical company.
More medication.
A major pharmaceutical company that has specifically designed this antipsychotic medication, specifically designed for British people.
No! It's safe.
It was done in a way that was balanced. There was great humour.
That's the one. That's the one.
From my own experience and hearing experience of others, something needs to be done. It's urgent, because lives are precious.
I wonder if there's anything that we could collectively think about to try to make a difference. What is it that we could do if perhaps you were in that situation that would make a difference? If you've got an idea, I would love to see or even just hear what that idea may be if you were in that situation.
Especially the people in the audience. They had a lot to be said, to be here, which I didn't know, I didn't expect that. I thought people will maybe more intimate, they will not maybe like to share their own stories where they actually did. So it was a big space and safe space to share opinions, to share ideas for change.
We need to have more cultural awareness that is lacking in all the different occupations. And until people understand that just because somebody shouts, you know, doesn't mean brain or anything like that. And cultural awareness is essential to helping, with us moving forward.
So when someone's been in hospital and they come out, what happens to them? So they end up going back into hospital. So there's no care. I mean, I know from a recent experience of someone being in hospital and being discharged, and up to now, the nurse in the community has not been seen.
They don't survive for very long when they get out.
When they get out, and it's really sad to be watching. I know it's a play, but it's the reality of what goes on. And sometimes I wonder, why do we suffer so much in this country? When this is all we get, we end up being mad, or we end up dying. What is it that we're here for when we are treated the way we are treated? My concern is usually about whether it's just an event and you forget about it.
So we need to go look again at care in the community, because community organisations, when they were established, working on the ground with people who know the experiences, the background, they can relate to people who've been in hospital, because people they know are able to identify on there's a continuity. People actually face people on maybe a weekly basis or whatever. The counselling support, the therapies, talking therapies, exercise, diet, this thing of creating a social interaction, not only because you're a professional, because that's the other thing. The professionals need to break down this mask and actually show their humanity.
It saddens me to actually see what's going on. And I mean, that these things are going on, but to actually see it, I mean, it brought a shudder to my body.
It's not only African history that I'm learning in terms of my heritage, but what I'm learning is that the whole planet is connected. Somebody's already mentioned it earlier in terms of Lucy, the origin of civilization. We are all humans. It's just our history in terms of where we have been located, what we have been exposed to, and how that division has been perpetuated through political systems. Yeah? But we as humans can actually make that change. We individually have to make that decision to break down these barriers which have been constructed, we've been playing these games. Yeah? We need to stop it.
But I hope that in the not too distant future that there can be some change, and that our children can be proud of us.
What we're going to do, we're going to invite our guests to take the stage. So can we put some chairs up on stage for our distinguished guests? We have a few of them in the house. What do you feel could be changed? Is there any idea that you may have?
The fact of having the authorities here of mental health and managers of organizations, it gives you also a chance to understand how they also see the things from their perspective.
Here comes the messy or not so messy moment. Ideally, you have some ideas about change. We'd like to hear some of those.
Since we've got some white psychiatrists, how are they going to be educated to understand people from a black background? Or can we get some more black psychiatrists around, please? I mean, I don't know what you can promote programs and education, what have you, to get them through. I mean, there's always a danger they'll be co-opted and become part of the system because they alone can't fight. What we need the psychiatrists, and we need to get more black psychiatrists who are sympathetic and progressive.
And your comment about psychiatrists and their power is real. It's so real. But I think when we're thinking about psychiatry, I think we absolutely need to think about how we start to deconstruct the very foundation of it, because it's problematic when it comes to black communities.
things I did notice and saddened me that there wasn't a psychiatrist, there wasn't any consultant psychiatrist on the panel or about. And I know that for me, in going through the system with him, it's always a consultant psychiatrist who's been God. They're the kind of gods. And if you want any movement, if you want anything to change in terms of his plans for his medication, or if you want to try and buy services after he's been released, it's checking out and getting the support of the psychiatrist.
And there is some work kind of happening around that. So there's the multicultural psychiatry group who are trying to resist what is the norm in terms of their practice. What we're trying to do is to see how we can work more effectively with other black-led organisations so that we can start to come out of those spaces so that other people can occupy them.
Getting therapy within Lambeth, you get 6 to 8 weeks, or is it 6 to 9 weeks? Either way, in terms of having therapy, whether you're recovering from an addiction or you've got a mental illness, it flies in the face of sensibility to have a short period of time when someone has had counselling or therapy. I would strongly advise that they try to find a way where you can have a minimum of 12 months if it's a case of you can't afford it and it's not within your budget. And if that is the case, then we do have people who are training to be therapists and counsellors who can also assist and help with this program, like what they do with the Talking Place, where a lot of the people who are there are trainees. In terms of like how it is now, a lot of people are not getting the therapy, because I'm one of those people who's looking for long-term therapy and can only find short-term. And within the interim of each short-term, there can be a descent back into the place where you came from. So I would say that for me, something that I think we should implement the next year is a longer therapy time.
Point around, 6 sessions of counselling, with the complexity that we hold based on our experiences, 6 sessions is like, probably for making an assumption, sweeping assumption, but like kind of just about kind of saying hello, because in 6 sessions, you probably just about got onto like, I have a fourth sibling, so I kind of feel like these are things that we can do stuff, but like I can't do it on my own, and my team can't do it on our own.
The red tape that we face as therapists is wild. 8 sessions is 8 sessions. If I decide to give you an extra 8, I've got to go through supervision, I've got to go through this, I've got to go through this, I've got to go through this. So by the time I even get your name down to see you, if you were 20, you're now 24. One of my clients was 17, and during lockdown, he was on the waiting list for 2 years. During lockdown, he turned 18. So then he became an adult. So he went to the back of the list. I got told that if I raise this up, I'm going to be suspended. So I no longer work there. Anyway, people talking about, we need more of this, we need more of this. I've got mums, single mums saying, we need more support. But parents' evening, you're not there. What do you mean? And that's my anger with our community. Because sometimes, and this is just how I feel from my experience working with young black children, everybody can blame everybody else, but nobody's looking in the mirror. And I'm going to be very honest. And that's what, for me, it starts from the home. I know, and I feel as a community, we need to address what's within us. We need to share our experiences. I'm Ghanaian. So if I see, oh, you're right, how you doing? You can't assume because we look the same, we have the same trauma. They say community centres. They went to open a community centre in Ilford. All we needed was a list of people who would volunteer. Do you think we have volunteers? But everybody wants a community centre because everybody wants somebody to help after school club, but nobody wants to sign up. So yes, we are here to listen, but we've got to work together.
I think what was positive was to see so many black guys being honest and forthcoming and having hope. I think that was new, and there was a kind of dynamic, a kind of energy in the room.
I just wanted to say something about value. All of you who are interested, you came out because you value yourself, your work, and what you can contribute. One of the things is I value that we are different and we have different needs. It doesn't make it wrong. And so you've got to bring back the value in everything that we do and get people to value. This type of work is creative. Look who's here in the room. We must value what's different. It's effective. And it's not in a box. It's out of the box. That's what I wanted to say.
I got a sense that people are no longer willing, and as a collective, as a group, people are no longer willing to accept the status quo, that they're willing, they want changes, and they know what the changes that they want.
Any of the comments, concerns, questions you have about the work that you see in the room, the artwork around the sides, and these amazing men?
What I'll take away from this is wonderful memories of rehearsing and then of performing. When Patricia asked what happens to people when they're discharged from hospital, I've been sectioned for psychosis twice, and I was discharged twice over the past 4 years. So if anybody wants to ask what the story was, I'll share that after the end of our Q&A. But for me, what I'm going to take from this is post-traumatic growth, the idea of turning my trauma into a positive asset, because I've managed to create scenes out of it and I've made brothers here. So that's what I will take from this.
This group, they didn't really know each other, but they were making these rules, and respect was at the centre of it. And from that, I was coming back week after week and found that they were just growing closer and closer together.
I'm Jack. I made the props. First week I came, I just joined it, and it seemed like a big row was kicking off. It was like, this is a mad discussion. I was like, is this an acting group or what? But they all sorted out, you know, it was a discussion about reactions to, I didn't know what was going on. They were talking about video on WhatsApp. I'm like, I'm not in the group. So I got kind of confused. But I've been coming every other week, travelling up from the south coast, driving up, you know, doing like a 3-hour round trip. But what I witnessed was a group of guys, you know what I mean, a group of men basically, who were just sharing everything and, you know, becoming more and more confident in each other every week. And then I'd miss a week and I'd come next week and it's just moved on, you know what I mean? And everyone's more and more brothers. And it was beautiful really to watch all of you lot just grow just as a family, you know what I mean? It's been a real pleasure.
And for me, I realised that I have issues. I have, you know what I mean? I had things that I was dealing with, and coming here and coming to the group every week was helping me to work out things in my mind as well.
I've been part of this group since its inception. We're talking 4 or 5 years maybe we've been doing this. What do I come to the group for? I come to the group to give. I come to the group to give myself an opportunity, to give myself courage, to give myself hope.
What I got from it was I got to witness something grow from small to something very strong, very powerful, that had a message. And what I take from it is I learned to kind of look at myself differently as well, you know, and see that we all need support, we all need each other.
And also to give everybody else a piece of my energy, which is positive or non-positive, and then turn it into something constructive, where we can then communicate it to the audiences that are at hand. What does this group do for me? When I first came to the group, I was, like Terence, with loads of different kind of drugs and also suffering from like suicidal ideation. I've been looking for a lot of stuff to replace the time that I would spend using, sitting in a park or considering jumping off a bridge. And coming to these classes has taken up some of that time where I am sitting in my own thought process and digging myself my own hole. Being part of this group has encouraged me as an individual to believe more in myself and to know that if I do have another anxiety attack or I'm feeling like I'm about to do something a bit untoward to myself, I have an arsenal of men at disposal to
Just to reaffirms the notion, the idea that humanity is not dead, right? We all still think the same things. If we can get rid of the crap and the politics in our daily lives and just come back to the bare bones of what it means to be alive and humane, that's what tonight brought to me.
My name's Keith. I've been with the BMC for just over 2 years now, and I feel that I'm privileged and proud to have a voice. And I'm breaking down those barriers, those taboo subjects that we can't talk about, because I want to talk about them, because they need to be spoken about. And if that causes controversy, then you know what, so be it. We can't continue to brush things under the carpet.
What I'm taking away is the power of telling a story, framing the narrative from their own perspective and not somebody else's. So I feel empowered to give that message as a community person of what we can do from young children to big people to engage with our own mental health and well-being.
2010, my nephew committed suicide. He was only 26 and he hung himself. And for about, a year, I couldn't even say the word suicide. I couldn't watch anything on the telly. And I was supported by the Crew's Bereavement organisation, who I continue to support. And suicide is rife. It's so rife in men, in black men, that it's not spoken about. And I will speak about it because it still touches my heart, knowing that my nephew could have been saved. He should still be here now. However, he's not. But if I can speak about it and talk about it and open doors and barriers to people and say that there is a black hole, but at that black hole there will be light at the end of that tunnel, then so be it.
It's been a long journey, but I'm hopefully have found something that I can fully immerse myself in and relate to.